Before we get into the video, just want to say, spoilers ahead for Twin Peaks, Fire Walk With Me, and Twin Peaks: The Return. Major spoilers, so be careful. And if you haven't watched them, watch them first because you're missing out.
Diane, 11:30 a.m., February 24th. Entering the town of Twin Peaks. It's 5 miles south of the Canadian border, 12 miles west of the state line. Never seen so many trees in my life.
In the early 90s, television was obsessed with the cynical detective. There were many shows that featured a detective, and it was kind of the craze. Then, a man in a black suit drove into a little town called Twin Peaks, marvelling at the trees and smelling the air. Special Agent Dale Cooper wasn't a cynic. He was a Boy Scout. He was kind to waitresses, he practiced a bit of mysticism, and he generally believed that a damn good cup of coffee was a spiritual experience. He was the perfect man.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
We loved him because he represented a form of goodness that felt bulletproof. But in the universe of David Lynch, purity isn't a shield, it's a target. Today, we're looking at the tragedy of Dale Cooper, because the very qualities that made him a hero, his empathy, his chivalry, and his refusal to look at his own shadow, are exactly what led to his 25-year imprisonment in the Black Lodge. This isn't a story about a hero who failed. This is a story about a hero who was doomed because of his heroism. To understand Cooper's downfall, we have to look at his white knight syndrome. Cooper doesn't just solve crimes, he wants to save people, specifically women in distress. Before Twin Peaks, it was Caroline Earle, the wife of his former partner, Wyndham Earle. Cooper fell in love with her while he was supposed to be protecting her. She died in his arms. That trauma didn't make Cooper cynical, it made him obsessive. He spent the rest of his life looking for a chance to do it right this time. And then, when he arrives in Twin Peaks to solve the murder of Laura Palmer, it's already too late to save her. So, he transfers that energy onto the town itself. He becomes the protector of Audrey Horne and eventually the saviour of Annie Blackburn. But here's the problem. In a David Lynch story, saving the girl is a trap. When Wyndham Earle takes Annie into the Black Lodge, Cooper doesn't hesitate. He ignores the warning. He enters the woods because his morality demands it. He thinks he can bargain with the darkness. He tells the spirit, "Take me, let her go." On the surface, it's the ultimate act of a hero, but in the logic of the lodge, it's an act of hubris. Cooper believes his soul is a fair trade for a life. He believes his goodness is a currency he can spend to cheat fate. Cooper's investigative style is built on intuition. He throws rocks at bottles, he listens to his dreams, he trusts the universe to guide him, and for a while, it works. He finds the killer. But there's a massive difference between intuition and self-awareness. Lynch often draws from Jungian psychology, the idea that every human has a shadow. To be a whole person, you have to acknowledge your capacity for evil. The tragedy is that Dale Cooper is too good and too nice. He has suppressed his darkness so deeply beneath the veneer of politeness that he doesn't recognise his own shadow when he sees it. When he enters the Red Room, he is confronted by his doppelganger. Because Cooper has never integrated his flaws, his lust, his pride, his past failures, his shadow is a separate, monstrous entity. He tries to run away from it, and in the Black Lodge, if you run from your shadow with imperfect courage, you lose.
Code!
How's Annie? How's Annie?
How's Annie?
For 25 years, Dale Cooper was gone, but David Lynch didn't just give us a sequel, where the hero returns to save the day. Instead, he showed us that the perfect man had been shattered into pieces. To survive the Black Lodge, Cooper's psyche literally split in two. On one side we have Mr. C. He is all of Cooper's competence, his tactical brilliance and his focus, but stripped of an empathy. He is the great detective turned into a great predator. On the other side we have Dougie Jones. He is all of Cooper's kindness, his love for coffee and his childlike wonder, but stripped of any agency or intelligence. This is the ultimate tragedy. Lynch is telling us that the perfect hero we loved in the 90s was an impossible balance. You cannot be that competent and that innocent forever. The world or the lodge will eventually force you to choose. When the real Cooper finally returns in part 16.
What about the FBI?
I am the FBI.
The music swells. It feels like a triumph. He's back. He has the suit, he has the plan, but watch his face. The joy is gone. The whimsy about the Douglas firs has been replaced by a grim, weary determination. He isn't a Boy Scout anymore. He's a man obsessed with fixing a past that might not want to be fixed. This shattered hero trope has become a cornerstone of psychological gaming. Look at Alan Wake, for example. Like Cooper, Alan is a man defined by his role. A writer, a creator, he enters the supernatural dark place to save a woman he loves, only to find himself trapped in a loop for over a decade. Both characters share the same fatal flaw. They believe they can write or investigate their way out of a cosmic nightmare. They believe their professional skills makes them immune to the darkness. But in both Twin Peaks and Alan Wake, the only way to win is to stop being the hero and start to become a human who accepts their own failure. Hi there, sorry to pause the video, but this is Editing Leo here from the future. Just thought of something that also links to this game in parallel. Silent Hill 2, which takes massive inspiration from Twin Peaks. If you played it, you should know. So if you want to see the DNA of Dale Cooper in gaming, you don't look at the gunplay or the puzzles, you look at the mirror. In the opening scene of Silent 2, we see James Sunderland staring at his own reflection. It's a moment of profound dissociation. Like Cooper, James has travelled to a foggy, isolated town to find a woman he's lost. And like Cooper, James presents himself as the hero, the grieving husband on a noble quest. In both stories, the mirror is alive. It's a barrier that the protagonists use to keep their perfect image separate from their shadow self. For Cooper, that barrier shatters in the season 2 finale. He literally breaks the glass because he can no longer pretend the monster isn't there. In Silent Hill, the entire town is the broken mirror. The monsters James fights aren't external invaders. They are physical manifestations of his own guilt, lust, and repressed trauma. This is where the two mediums meet. David Lynch and the creators of Silent Hill both suggest that the most dangerous place a person can go isn't a dark forest or a haunted house, it's their own psyche. Cooper and James Sunderland are two sides of the same coin. They are men who try to be good by ignoring the bad inside them. But in a Lynchian world, and in a Silent Hill world, the things you refuse to look at in the mirror are eventually the things that come to life and hunt you down. In the final moments of the series, Cooper tries one last time to be the White Knight. He travels back in time, prevents Laura Palmer's murder, he saves the girl. But look at the cost. The world becomes cold, the people he knew are gone. The Twin Peaks we loved is replaced by a dark, unrecognisable reality. Cooper needs to be perfect, to fix everything, to save everyone. By doing that, he ends up breaking the universe itself. Maybe the lesson of Dale Cooper is that some things aren't meant to be solved. Maybe goodness isn't about being a flawless hero who defeats the monster. Maybe it's about being a person who can sit in the dark, drink a cup of coffee, and accept that the world is messy, scary, and beyond our control. Dale Cooper was a damn good agent, but he was a human being first, and that's the one thing he forgot to be.
What year is this?